touch the lights. Follow my music, touch the lights. Follow my music, touch the lights. My music, come in, come in.
Primus Dudes are back with the PEMF sessions, kicking off 2009 with a special look inside the making of the last track for the Heads project. I've had this idea in my head for a while of doing a polyrhythm track based off of what I call a Boomerang 808. And I've been listening to a lot of dubstep and really want to see how low I can take the bass. So I start things off by doing a little bit of editing of a 808 sample to get that boomerang effect I'm looking for. With the boomerang sound now set, I pull out the monologue and start editing sounds for a small drum kit. This is a new version of the monologue which features 8 individual drum sounds, each with their parameters editable directly on the mono. Building a kit is a matter of editing the various parameters for filters and oscillators in each drum sound. As you can imagine, there's hours of fun just in building the kits alone. I probably built about 5 or 6 different sounds when at the end only about 3 of those actually get used for this track. But with the control of 8 drum synths at your fingertips, it's really hard to resist playing around. Shout out to Jerry Smith over at the Bejeweled community for all his help with the synth engines here. Each of the pads have their own set of parameters so that no 2 of them sound exactly alike. You can see here a little FM modulation. Of course, the synth engine is only half the strengths of the monologue. We'll get into the details of the sequencer a little bit later. For now, once my kit was set up, I put together a little rough sequence and start playing around. It's always nice to just start freestyling ideas, so I pull out strings and start seeing what I can come up with. Bass line. Like I said, I wanted to play around with the polyrhythm, so I wanted to sample this little hit right here. And then lay down a foundation of the polyrhythm with this little rhythm right here. Some more experimentation before laying anything down concrete. This time with 4 or 5 cycles, which you'll see more of a little bit later on. Now with a better idea of the direction I'm heading, I can start tracking the monologue drums. Just the kick and snare here. The sequencer engine really gives a lot of flexibility for changing up the patterns. I'll end up losing the double snare, but I did want to use the fills here. With the drums laid out, I go back in on the bass line. Starting to get really comfortable with the strings, which is nice. So now I go back into work on the 4 or 5 cycles, focusing here on editing the actual sounds. In that first clip, you can actually see the interface for playing performance-wise, and it has a sequencer just like all the instruments. While the sequencer plays the loop, I start going to work on editing the sound. Again, controlled directly from the mono. It's based on a powerful Etham synth developed by Jerry Smith and Bejeweled again. Combining multiple oscillators with parameter linking makes this not just a powerful for sound development, but really just a powerful performance tool as well. Just like with the monologue, there's hours of fun to be had just building out sounds. But then once you get the sound actually the way you want it to, it really becomes fun because you can start messing around with them live in performance. Here I'm actually modulating 3 different parameters with my fingers. It gives it just a nice little touch to the sound. So so that what you're listening to is an actual live performance, one of the critical parts of the Heads project. So, the track isn't quite done yet, but I definitely wanted to do some scratching, and I was going to open up Scritch, but before I do that, I needed to edit the sounds that I was going to use. So I go over into the Wave Editor and start bouncing out some of the samples, open them up, edit them individually, giving them tempo parameters by beats and bars and time signature. Then once that's done, I can go ahead and export them as FLACs. So that means that I'm getting high quality lossless audio. I can take that and then open it up inside of Bejewel. Not that I'm trying to compete with the other scratching utilities out there like Serato, but as a lossless scratching utility, Scritch is pretty amazing. The FLACs here loaded directly into Scritch. So after a bunch of in-the-box production and arrangement, the track is finally ready to go. You can hear a little bit of the results right here. And with the completion of this, it means all of the tracking for the album is done. So moving forward with the PEMF sessions, the next episodes are going to be a series of more peeks inside the process, or really peeks into the songs themselves as I get into the mixing. Thanks for checking out this episode of the PEMF Sessions. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We've got a lot more in store for 2009. Stay tuned to Avant Herb, though it's probably still down right now. Hopefully we'll get it up soon. In the meantime, I'm on Twitter Primus Luta. And yeah, be easy, yo. Peace.